panelists afterwards, is very briefly, and I'm going to ask Ron to time this question, is to either share, anything that you didn't have an opportunity to share that you really want to about a particular holiday. But what I'd love to hear is a story from your own life of an experience with a holy day that had a significance, a really deep significance for you. So again, either anything that you feel was left out or a particular experience that had a really deep meaning for you. I think absolutely no more than 2 minutes for this question per person. That's going to take us to pretty much, we need to keep on task with that. So I'm going to ask Ron, and if you hear me say, and Ron will give you the sign at 30 seconds, I'll say 30 seconds, and I need you to wrap it up then. Okay, if you take it shorter, that's fine too. You want to start? Okay, we'll just go down the line again.
Ready? What I didn't go over before were some of the symbols involved in Kwanzaa. All Kwanzaa celebrations, be it one for the community or one in one's individual home, has certain symbols. At the base of all symbols is the Mkika, which is a mat, usually a straw mat. On the mat are other articles. The Kanara, not to be confused with the Menorah. The Kanara is a candle holder with spaces for 7 candles. 3 red, 3 green, 1 black. The black candles in the center represents African American people, those in the diaspora and those who are home. The 3 red represent sacrifice. The 3 green represent future generations. The Mashuma Saba, well, I've already talked, that's called the Mashuma Saba. The Mohindi are ears of corn. All locations will have an ear of corn. It represents the number of children in that home. If you don't have any children, you would still have 2 ears because the community represents our children also. Zawadi represents gifts. We do give gifts, but the gifts must include of some kind of a book. I brought the book that I've written. A book and an African carved item. So you begin to appreciate the importance of literature, and you also begin to appreciate that which comes from your own hands. The mazal, or fruits, apples, pears, whatever, is important because without labor, there's no progress. There was somebody who toiled to plant the seed and harvest the seed to make it available for everybody else. The Nguzu Saba time?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Nguzu Saba are the 7 principles I talked before. And finally, the Kukumba Cha Umoja, a unity cup, which is normally passed around and everyone takes a sip from it. Those are the principles, those are the symbols that are there, and that's what helps to make it more conversational and family-oriented.
Wonderful. Excellent.
I'm Lucia with the Family Federation for World Peace and Unification once again. And our faith membership, our community's membership in the Arizona Interfaith Movement has greatly enriched our community. It's a benefit to our community. And me being here today is one example. This is a tradition book. This is our book that instructs us how to celebrate and how to do all the rituals of our faith. And so I had to study this book in order to make this presentation. And actually, I presented this as a sermon to my own community because I knew that I needed refreshing and everyone else did, and it was well received. And one example is internal preparation for these holy days. Our mind, heart, and body. So the showering and external cleansing was definitely mentioned. Our founder said we should try to develop a longing for these holidays. And through the longing for the celebration, the tradition can be established that can be passed on to our children. Since we're a new religion, we don't have thousands of years of a heritage, so we're still developing the tradition. We use the term a heart of attendance to God. Attendant is the person that is there for the person, and so we try to have a heart of attendance to our Heavenly Parent. The idea of live joyfully while God rejoices. And it was also suggested to begin this preparation internally 3 days before the holiday, continuing on the holiday, and again 3 days afterwards. So the heart of gratitude, purity, and humility, and to pray strongly, connecting in heart with the meaning of the day. So that was this internal preparation concept is something I learned from this book that I would not have discovered if it hadn't been for this assignment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Ron, call out when it's 30 seconds so they know.
Ready? While discussing about the Sikh faith, I forgot to mention one important thing. The 10 prophets or 10 gurus, the first one was born in 1469 and then consecutively one after the other. The last one died in 1708. So that covers a span of 239 years. Sikh faith actually evolved over those 239 years. Because what was in the beginning and what happened at the end has gradually changed. So during that time, it was not only that the Sikh gurus were born and they died, but certain thing happens in their life too. And 3 important events which occurred to me while we were talking about sacrifice was that the 5th guru of the Sikhs was executed by being tortured by the then government, which was obviously the invaders from the Middle East. Because if you look at the map of India, from northwest is the Khyber Pass, that is where Afghanistan gets into Pakistan and then it moves into India. So all the invaders were coming from that route and they were the rulers of India at that time when the 5th Guru was there. And the issue always was conversion, forcible conversion, which of course Sikh Gurus did not want to be converted, so he was executed. Likewise, the 9th Guru of the Sikhs, he was called by the priest of the Hindu faith from Kashmir because they were 29 now, right? He was executed because he wanted not the other faith to be converted but the other faith. And then the 10th Guru's 2 children were pricked alive because they refused to change their faith. So besides the birthdays, these are also 3 important events. Am I in time?
So speaking of the Hindu faith, and just, I know we're talking about some kind of an experience or stories about these different festivals. And what I can remember and what stays in mind is really growing up with a lot of these festivals around you. Every festival had some importance to me. I was involved in every aspect of the planning, the food and the festivities, etc. So those are some fond memories that I can bring to share. And I think in each festival I put in just as much effort and zeal into preparing for it, especially the food, because the food was the biggest piece of the event. And there's so many different rituals that need to be done, so you have to gather all these different things to put them together. And I was always there to help my mom with doing all of that stuff. So especially for the Janmashtami, which is the birth of Lord Krishna, I think in our tradition we kind of make like 15 or some odd number of sweets and savories. So trying to make like 15 savories through the day to have this feast in the evening. I would be in the kitchen like from 3 o'clock in the morning, take shower and get ready and start cooking, and I'd tell my mom to leave the kitchen, and I'd just be doing all of these different things for about 10 hours of cooking. It reminds me of when I went for a Thanksgiving party. The hostess said that she cooked the turkey for like 8 to 10 hours or something like that. So it reminded me of that cooking, except the difference is that it's not just one dish or a couple dishes, it's like 15 different dishes.
Thank you.
I should probably point out too that as Christian Scientists, we do celebrate Christmas and Easter, although we do not have a separate service for those days. Sometimes Christmas falls on a Sunday or a Wednesday. This year it falls on a Sunday. So we would have our regular church service, have our regular Sunday school, time. And the same thing with Easter. What we're really celebrating is the resurrection, not the crucifixion. We don't celebrate Good Friday, which is different from some Christian religions. And one thing I will talk about with the special day, I have a very small family of my own because of situations within my family. But when I married my husband and acquired a stepson, going to church that Thanksgiving, which was almost a year after we'd been married, we were married on New Year's Eve, was such a happy day for me. Even though I've talked about having, seeing my former Sunday school students, but to really have a family and a child of my own was so, oh, no, I have to use your sorry. No, no, I wouldn't dare. But was so special and heartwarming to me, and I will never forget how I felt that day.
Thank you. So I was seated at a high holiday Yom Kippur service, and the rabbi was delivering a sermon. This is about 20 years ago, and he talked about the passage in Leviticus, the Ahavta Re'echa Kamocha, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And the point being made was we were there on the Day of Atonement, and if you alter the syllabic use of the word, it also could say at one-ment. And it was important that you look within oneself and deep within yourself. So the statement, you shall love your neighbor as yourself, was not a commandment. The point was, how you think of yourself is how you will think of your neighbor. You will love your neighbor as yourself. So my thinking today is, it starts with the self. It starts with each and every one of us. And if we are loving and kind, then we will see the world as loving and kind.
Still got some time.
Said what I needed.
And that was, we're taught in the Holy Quran that we should want for our brothers and sisters what we should want for ourselves. And although we only have the 2 holidays, and most of the Muslims that were born here in America, and mostly from African American heritage, we basically have Christian roots, Baptist, Methodist, Episcopal, and so on and so forth. And so, therefore, most of our families, have Christian backgrounds, and we're not restricted from celebrating. As a matter of fact, we're encouraged to respect everyone's holidays. So, at any of your holidays, any of your dinners or celebrations, you want to invite me, I'll come in.
Oh, hasn't it been so refreshing to just laugh and think about something else? Hasn't it been refreshing and wonderful? And didn't we just, oh my goodness, let's give a round of applause to all of us. Thank you so much, each of you, for giving up of your time and your experience and your joy and your intelligence and your knowledge of your faith tradition to share with us today. We are richer for it. We are richer for it. And just a couple of things before I turn over to Larry. We're so excited that we have our first event coming up in Flagstaff, and if you'd like to come join us up there, it may require that you stay overnight and find a friend in Flagstaff to stay with, or find an inexpensive motel or hotel to stay at. But it's going to be on November 16th, that's next Thursday, at Thorniger's restaurant
Wednesday,
in
That's next
Wednesday, thank you. Next Wednesday at Thorniger's in Flagstaff. We're partnering with the Soul Friends United Religious Leaders Association up there. We're going to have a special service. It is called a Symphony of Blessings. It'll be an hour-long service. It's just going to be lovely, lovely, lovely to hear other faith traditions and do some prayers and join together with our Flagstaff brothers and sisters. And afterwards, there's yummy desserts. So good reason to get up there and see and eat, right? And then the next thing that I want to share is that on Sunday, November 20th at 2 p.m. at the Fountains United Methodist Church in Fountain Hills, they are having their annual Interfaith Thanksgiving service. And the Arizona Interfaith Movement's been a part of that for many years. We have a phenomenal service that we're creating for this year, and it's really going to, I think, bring us to a deeper place of healing in many ways, and really uniting. So I really encourage you to come to that. That is phenomenal, and again, there'll be food after that as well. If you're not on our email list, please see Anne and let her know. We don't have our January Faith Forums completely put together yet, or our dates, but as soon as we do, we'll get them up on the calendar and let you know. Coming in 2017 will be some evening Faith Forums, and I think that is all I have. The last thing I want to share is that we're going to take our photo. So if you would like to greet and meet the panelists, have any questions for them, please just give them a moment, us all a moment to take a photo before rushing the stage to see them all. And then they'll be happy unless they have to rush up to spend some time interacting with you. Let others know about these faith forums. It's a wonderful time to share, to know, to get to know about the other richness, the richness that is in the faith traditions, and also the similarities that we have. I'm going to turn it over to our beloved executive director.
Thank you. I don't need that. One of the reasons I do love Interfaith is because we find out how much we have in common. And here's just another example of the unity and the commonality that we share with one another. I'm like John. I want to hit all these. But I'm just so grateful for you folk coming and sharing this rich tapestry of understanding of the holy days in your lives, and that oftentimes blends into the of ours as we celebrate together. I want to brag for just a moment. While we have a lot of young people who are finding difficulty with the election returns, our young people at ASU, about 100 strong, are demonstrating and giving a model of how we ought to deal with this. Some of them are saying, holding up signs in their demonstration, I voted for Trump. Some are holding up signs, I voted for Hillary. Underneath, they all have, but I love the people who voted for Hillary. I love the people who voted for Trump. And they're embracing one another in this demonstration of civil dialogue. And I am so proud of those young people because they are demonstrating what interfaith is all about, what it means to be a part of an interfaith movement. And so if there's ever a time in the history of our country when we need that concept and that modeling, it's now. So thank you for you folk being that model, and thank you for our young people who are showing that there is a better way to discuss things that divide us. We have some wonderful things. We just had a tremendous event called Experience Interfaith. Over 500 people were fed by our wonderful Sikh community, who gave us a lovely meal. And then we sat around and talked about our faith and our journey together, and it was just a wonderful experience. And at the end of it all, everybody went away really feeling this was really a tremendous moment in their lives. And so, if you have not been to an Experience Interfaith, we have one coming up next year. So we'll let you know more about that. So how does the Interfaith Movement do their business? I'm glad you asked. We have license plates. They look like this. I saw 2 of them coming here to the meeting today. It says, "Live the Golden Rule." You can be a traveling billboard to help bring civility to what normally can be really uncivil. How do you say that? Is that?
Uncivil.
Huh?
Uncivil.
Uncivil. Okay. That's why I have her with me. My spokesperson. Moses had Aaron, so I have an Ann. So, at any rate, the other way you can do it is by becoming a member. And you become an annual member of $25. And that gives you, helps us spread the message of interfaith. And so we have an opportunity for you to sign up today. And what other thing we have for you today is our brand new calendar of 2017. Normally we charge $100 for this, but today you can have it for free. All right, what a deal. This is a holiday. So anyhow, come and get your calendar today. We're glad that you came. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day, and may God bless America.
And Larry, Anita had one thing to share as well.
Okay, you got her on the clock?
Yes, keep me on the clock. Keep me honest, keep me on the clock, right? So here's another thing. In addition to all the wonderful things that Larry has been talking about and giving you freebies, I have one other piece of information to share with you, and that is regarding an event that's coming up this Saturday. It's called Discover India, and it's in the Scottsdale Civic Center. So if you're interested in just taking this further in terms of just your knowledge of Indian customs and traditions, etc., there won't be any of the spiritual part of it, though I think there will be some yoga and other things there. But I think it's all a lot of good food and festivities and dances and cultural events and a lot of people getting together. So that is on this Saturday, November the 12th, from 11 to 6. And the best time to get there would probably be around maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and have a good lunch, brunch, dinner, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Anita, the flyer and the information is on our website, azifm.org. If you go under events, there's community events, and that's
Okay,
posted there
great.
for
So
you.
you heard all of what
Yeah.
Anne had to say. Everything's on the website, so please do go and visit that, and it'll be a nice time nice way to spend the weekend.
Thank you everyone for coming. It's a wonderful day.
Thank you.